Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at the new Sydney Grace Be Mine palette. If you're interested in seeing swatches, two looks, and my thoughts overall on the new Valentine's palette, then just keep watching. Hey guys, so thank you so much for clicking on my video. Today I'm really excited to be able to show you the new Sydney Grace Be Mine palette. This palette released yesterday, January 26th. I was lucky enough to be one of the ones that received this gifted from Sydney Grace. So thank you so much, Sydney Grace, and to the team for sending this over. I did choose to receive this in the deep version, and so that's the one that I'm going to be showing you today. The palette retails for $52, and it is a Valentine's inspired palette in golds, pinks, purples, greens, and blacks for a soft everyday look or a smoky, sultry date night look. So what I thought that I would do today is, recently I asked in one of my videos if you had other suggestions for really great neutral or everyday type of palettes, and I do believe that this palette is going to be one of those in that category. And so what I thought that I would do is I would put together an easy everyday look as my look number one, and then we're going to take the same look and we're going to smoke it up and make it sultry and date night appropriate. Now the swatches look really good. I did have a little bit of trouble swatching some of them, and I'll talk through that during the video, but swatches aren't everything. In general, I am very much in love with the Sydney Grace formula, and it was one of the first indie brands that I tried in the singles, and I thought that their formulas were great. So I'm very excited to try this and to share with you so that you guys can see if this is the Valentine's palette that you would like to get. Now, one thing that I really love about this palette is, people are going to say that's not Valentine inspired except for the packaging, and what I'm going to say is I've heard a lot of people recently say that they're very much over the pink and the purple color stories for Valentine. Like, they're not very innovative. It's the same thing every single year. I mean, Natasha Denona just released her little 5-pan mini crush palette. Nothing but pinks again. And I just think, I love the fact that they thought outside the box, and instead of just going to the regular pinks and purples color story for Valentine's, they put together something that, again, was sultry and smoky and could really be used for date night. So let's go ahead and get started with our daytime look. We'll talk through that. I'll show you my look for my day, and then we'll come back at night and we'll smoke it up and make it sultry for you. Okay, so one of my favorite shades in the palette so far is going to be this one, Darling. This berry swatched so beautifully, and so I definitely want to use that, but I'm going to go ahead and start with something a little lighter in my crease. I'm going to start with the shade All Mine, which is just a matte, light, taupey shade or caramel shade. It reminds me of a shade that Sydney Grace already has called Peanut Butter. Really pretty, and even though it shows really light in the pan, in my opinion, it is very caramelly. It's pretty. Okay, that is really pretty. I mean, that alone with some black eyeliner could be a look. Next, I'm going to go straight into my favorite shade, which is Darling here, this berry color there, with my Sonia G worker brush. And I'm going to be very careful because it is a little deeper than I anticipated, but in a really good way. And I'm just going to place it down, maybe to about a little more than 1/3 of the lid there. Look at how beautiful that is. Ooh, this is giving me Natasha Denona retro vibes. Oh my goodness, that is gorgeous. Wow, I knew that this was going to be one of my favorite colors. I'm taking the lighter shade that I used at first, the All Mine shade, and I'm just going to grab my BK Beauty 201 and just soften up the top there. You guys, the blend on this is incredible. Incredible. I mean, did we expect any less from Sydney Grace? Next, I want to take a shimmer on the inner corner. Next, I'm going to take the shade Baby Cakes. It looks gold in the pan, but it's it's got like a green undertone or some green shimmer kind of woven into that. So let's just take it all the way into the inner corner there. Ooh. Recently, I haven't been doing too much on the lower lash line, but today I want to. I feel like that berry is just soft enough to be able to do that. So let me just put that right under the lower lash line, just very lightly. I thought about using one of the darker shades, like this chocolate shade up here, to do like an eyeliner situation, but this is a daytime look, so I'm gonna leave it right there. Let me finish it up, put a lip on, and I'll come right back. Okay, and here is the completed daytime look. I think this looks so pretty, so berry. I don't know, I love it. One thing that I was thinking about when I was finishing the look is I recently saw the Suku 2022 collection come up, and the only quad that really called out to me was the one with the berry or the raspberry tone in it. I'll pop a picture up here. Now that I'm using this palette, I feel like I don't need that quad anymore, which saves me quite a bit of money. But yeah, this berry is such a pretty color. It has a little bit of like apricot in there. Raspberry, I think, is the perfect description for this shade. It's so beautiful, paired with this gold with green flecks of shimmer in there. I think was really pretty. On my lips, just so you know, I have the Lisa Eldridge Affair lip liner, and then I have Propa Beauty and Moxie, and I think this came out really nice. It's bright, I think in the inner corner. It's perfect for daytime, so this is the look for the daytime. I will be back in just a little bit to smoke it up to make it sultry and date night appropriate. Okay guys, so I finished my meetings for the day, and now it's time to get ready for night. So what we're gonna do, even though I hate to touch this raspberry color because I'm loving it, I mean, even just for spring, I think it's so beautiful. We're gonna smoke it up. We're gonna make it sultry. We're gonna use some of the darker shades in the palette. Go follow me on Instagram because I am going to upload more looks with this palette. I've really been enjoying doing my initial thoughts and impressions with some looks and then digging back into palettes and posting them on Instagram just to give more look inspo. So definitely do that. But we are going to go ahead and dip into the palette. So one thing that I did want to say, because I was thinking like, oh no, we're going to make it sultry and smoke it up and whatever, is that when I did my look this morning, I lately have been doing my base after my eyes, but I did my base today first, and so I had zero fallout. So I did want to say that sometimes, you know, especially when you get into like the deeper pigmented tones, you might have a little fallout. I didn't experience that at all. And so let's see what we're going to do here. All right, so naturally, like what I thought I would do is use like this pucker up to like deepen up this berry here, but I don't want to do that. I think that I want to go in with Love Me and Romance, the top two here. They look a little mossy and a little grungy, and so I don't know if I'm gonna ruin the look, but the point is to smoke it up, and that's what I plan on doing. Honestly, I even want to use this black shimmer a little bit. I don't know if I am or not, but it's just got such a pretty sheen. Really nice. So we'll see if I get into that one, but for sure I want to hit the two up there. And I think I might also want to try this Crush on You here. In person, it is giving me like the Amoosed vibes, you know, from the recent Nomad Cosmetics palette. You know, this one here. So we'll see how it works. Yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so I brought you in a little closer, and I did apply some tape here because I want to make it a little more snatched, if you will. I want to have a little bit of a fierce eye, and so that's what I'm going for. And instead of having to clean it up, since I do have my base done, this will give us the protection that we need to get that really sharp edge there. Okay, so I'm going to start with the shade Love Me, which is like this grungy, mossy brown, and I'm gonna take one of my Blend Bunnies brushes. I'm really loving these for very targeted blending, which we'll have to do. I'm gonna place it here a little bit lower and then slowly start working it in. Ooh, instantly that looks gorgeous. I was sad to see my raspberry color go, but this is going to be good too. So as you see, I'm going into like the crease, but a little bit lower than I normally do, just because I am going to elongate the deeper tone, but look at how pretty that blended in. Did not disrupt anything at all. That's a look too. Whew. Now I'm going to intensify that, and I'm going to go into the shade Romance, which is that one there. For this one, I am blending still in a very targeted way. My Angie Hot and Flashy A504, I think, is perfect for that. And I'm going to blend upwards, really using the tape as my guide. And only focusing it really on the outside. It's not deepening up as much as I thought, so let's go in a second time. So it almost looks like I'm applying the color like straight up. The reason that I do that is because of the shape of my eyes. It's a little more almond shape and more elongated, but I feel like it really does open up my eyes, so that's why I think I picked up this technique from Nikki Tutorials. She has similar eye shape to me, and I do think it's flattering. So it's like I'm going just right along the tape line there, and it's deepening up really nicely. I'm going to grab the shade that I used this morning, the BK Beauty 201, and go back into the shade All Mine, which was that really light shade that we went into, like that peanut butter shade at the beginning. And I'm just going to go over the top here, make sure that everything's blended nicely. Again, the point is to smoke this out. Now I'm going to go into this bronzy brown shimmer here. This is Crush on You. And I'm just going to take it on my finger, and I'm going to cover up some of that gold shimmer we placed this morning. Just kind of go over the lid. Ooh, that's where the smoke comes in. Look at how pretty that is. Wow, that's incredible. I'm gonna have to compare it to the Nomad one just because there's been a lot of hype over that shade, so I want to see how it compares if you're still in between palettes, you know. I'm gonna grab the shade Smooch on this Sephora Pro shader brush. It's just a tiny little brush, and we're just gonna use this in the inner corner. It's like a silvery shimmer, so pretty. I'm going back into Romance, which is that really deep brown shade. It's definitely a cool tone brown, but I love it. I don't think I want to do eyeliner. I don't know what it is. I just don't. I like how it looks like this. So I'm going to smoke out the lower lash line now. You see that line? It instantly becomes a very editorial, very graphic, very snatched, you know? Okay, I'm going to take the same little brush here for this shade Romance, and I'm going to go right under the lower lash line. And even though there's a harsh line there, I'm going to leave that there. The bottom should really just be like smoke, diffused smoke, in my opinion. I saw somebody do this on Instagram, and I thought it was so pretty. It's like it's together, but it's not. There's a little bit of separation there, and I love that. Look at that. That looks gorgeous. Whew. I'm going to soften up this here at the top. Okay, and then I'm going to take the soft shader that I just used, and I'm going to go into that Crush on You shade, the darker shimmer, and go right over that as well. I'm going to come back with the final look and possibly change up my lip. I'll be right back. And here is the nighttime look. Oh my God, I love this, you guys. I love it. Okay, let me just do this. Okay, so I thought this was kind of like a cool tone, smoky, taupey kind of look. And so I didn't do lashes or anything else. I wanted the smokiness to stay there. I also didn't do a dark eyeliner in the waterline. I don't know. In my mind, I think it would have closed off my eyes a little bit too much because I've got a lot of dark going on. So I kept the same eyeliner in the waterline, which is the MAC. This is from their Fall 2020 collection. That's what it looks like. It's kind of like a shimmery yellow, not even gold, just yellow. It's kind of trash, to be honest. Like, I don't see it in my waterline, but it is what it is. I think with this lip, it looks really good. I love, love, love the way that that sharp line came up. Even though we smoked it out at the bottom, I still think it looks really good sharp like that. It just kind of focuses on the eyes. And then I went with like a concealer lips type of look. Love it. It's bomb. You guys, look at that. It's bomb, 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 bomb. Now, what else did we expect, right? So let's talk about that just a little bit, because I think, you know, as much as I work with eyeshadows every single day, sometimes I tend to forget, or sometimes, you know, I get so used to, for a while, having really amazing swatches, things like that, that it kind of throws me back a little bit. So I have to be honest about a couple of things. The color story is everyday, in my opinion. It's this sultry type of smoky like palette that you can do a little bit of like berry smoky, neutral smoky brown, or you can go with these blacks down here for like New Year's smoky, you know, whatever you want to do. I think you can do with this palette. It is an everyday palette, and I love that. When I was swatching the palette, you guys, what I noticed immediately was the shimmers were creamy, but they were a little crumbly. And what I mean by that is I would pick it up and let me show you. There's the like the crumbly part at the top of my finger. And when I was swatching it, like I would swatch it and then you'd have like some leftover there. And so you'd have to kind of warm it up and work it in. And so I noticed that immediately with the shimmers, okay? Now, once you warm it in and you work it in, it's fine. I'm not like digging that hard into the pans when I'm putting it on the lid, so it's not that big of a deal. But I just wanted to tell you so that if you're swatching it for the first time, you're not immediately disappointed. I wanted to point that out. With the mattes, okay? Swatches versus application and durability of the shades. With the mattes, I felt like they were all swatching a little bit dry. And I kind of dug into this first matte and I was like, huh. So I dug again and I dug again for my swatch, and they were just a little bit of a drier formula. As we could tell on the first look, that drier formula didn't mean anything at all. It was so beautiful once it was applied on the lid. So I again wanted to point that out, so if you're swatching it and you don't get a great swatch, doesn't really matter when it comes to application. It still goes on beautiful. You get a really smooth finish. It looks great. It lasted all day. It was perfect. But I wanted to point that out. The only matte that was just like yummy creaminess that I'm used to from Sydney Grace was this one here, one of my favorite shades, Darling. That one did swatch perfectly on the first swatch. It was very creamy, not crumbly at all, and so it worked really nicely. That being said, the matte is not like the deepest matte black, not the deepest matte black that I've seen recently, but it still does exactly what it needs to do, and the quality is amazing. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out because again, sometimes we forget swatches aren't everything. I mean, even me, I'm definitely not an expert by any means, but I swatch every day. I work with color every day. I work with different formulas every day, at least for the last 2.5 years. And I kind of forgot because when I swatched, I was like, there is no way that this palette's going to be a dud. Like, it's Sydney Grace. And yes, I was right. There's no way that it was a dud. But upon initial swatch, that's what I found. Again, once it comes to application, it means absolutely nothing. This is gorgeous. Everything blends seamlessly together, and I'm really, really happy with the look that I got. I feel like I don't have a lot of these grungy browns either, and so I really do love this look. Like, the pewter look is so pretty. Ooh, Ooh, let's compare this Crushing on You, like the bronzy brown, to the one in the new Nomad Cosmetics palette. 1 second. Okay, so I thought this would be a good comparison because they both recently were released this week. And there's one shade particularly out of the Nomad Cosmetics palette that everybody's going crazy over, which is this one here, So Amused. See how beautiful and shimmery that brown is? Now that I open the palette and I look side by side, they don't look too similar, but let me show you. So we're talking about this one here, Crush on You, and So Amused. So let's compare them. I mean, similar, but not exactly the same. Now let's swatch them. I'm going to swatch the Nomad Cosmetics first. No, this one's a little more bronzy maybe. This is Nomad Cosmetics. Ugh, I die. Okay, that's Nomad Cosmetics. And this is Crush on You by Sydney Grace. They're pretty close, you guys. They're pretty close. Let's swatch it next to it. Okay, Nomad Cosmetics, Sydney Grace. Pretty close. If you don't mind, again, Nomad Cosmetics, Sydney Grace. This has more of a, like a gray tone, and this has more of a bronzy tone, but they're pretty close. You can see there. So not exactly the same, but that's the shade that it reminded me of because these two palettes were just released this week. If you're still deciding and you tend to be more of an everyday wearable type of color story, this is going to be for you, the Be Mine collection from Sydney Grace. And then if you like color and you like to have pops of color sometimes, then Nomad Cosmetics will be for you. So I hope that that comparison was helpful. Okay, so that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed my looks as I took this palette from daytime into the nighttime for a date night look. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give me a like. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. We like a lot of eyeshadow, a lot of foundation, just a lot of makeup in general here. It's a pretty uplifting and loving environment where we all like to talk about makeup. So definitely do that. And if you'd like to see more looks and more look inspo with the palettes that I use here on my channel, go follow me on Instagram where I do post pretty regularly, I would say daily. Sydney Grace, thank you again for sending this palette to me. I mean, again, not a dud in your collection. I absolutely loved it, and I'm so excited to see what else you come up with next. I almost forgot, I did post a picture of this on my Instagram, but they have said that they will have a new sticker every single month with a different theme, and this is the sticker for this year, you guys. I think that's what they said, a new sticker every month. So I'll have to find like a really cool, cute little way to display these stickers so that I don't lose them. But yeah, that's the sticker this month. I think it's very appropriate with the palette release. Very cute. So Sydney Grace, thank you for sending these over. It was such a treat and I absolutely loved it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye.